All right, welcome everyone. In this video, I want to introduce you to the rename function from the dplyr package. And so as you might suspect from the name of the function, the rename function gives us a way to rename variable names or column names of a data frame with the dplyr package. So the syntax would be we enter the new name of the variable, then an equal sign, and then we enter the old name of the variable. So just to take a look at this storms data frame, um, this names function, this is base R function, first of all. This is not a dplyr function. So I can run names storms, and this tells me the column names in my data frame. And maybe I don't like these last two columns. Those are very long names, and maybe I want to shorten them. So tropical force diameter, hurricane force diameter, I want to shorten them to trop diameter and her diameter. And so one way that we could do that in base R would be to say, let's take the names storms, which is a vector, and let's take the last two entries of this, so 12 and 13, and we are just going to rename them these two names. So this would just take storms entry 12 and 13 and rename it trop diameter and hurricane diameter. Okay, so that's one way to do it in base R. Using the dplyr package, we could use the rename function now to accomplish this as well. So what that would look like, I would say rename, input the data frame name. Then I would say, here's what I want to use as the new name for the variable. And this is what the old name is for that variable. And then I can do it for hurricane force diameter as well. So I can do this for however many variables I want. Sometimes it might be nice if you want to line them up to make it more readable. You can line it up like that so that your variables are each on the separate line. Um, so you can kind of line up your code however you like. How you kind of put these line breaks doesn't really affect the code at all. It just affects how readable the code is. If I run this code cell here, I'm not going to. This is, again, going to create a data frame that's going to have like, I don't know, like 20,000 observations. So it's going to print a huge data frame to the screen that I don't want to see. So instead, I'm going to run the code cell that is below it, which is going to print a summarized output to the screen instead. And I'm going to do this using using the pipe. So I'm going to take storms, input that into the rename function. So that is the equivalent of saying first input storms into rename. And now it just, oops, excuse me, has the same two commands that I had over here. Take the tropical force diameter, rename it trop diameter. Take hurricane force diameter and rename it her diameter. That ends the rename function. And now I'm going to pipe that output, which is the storms data frame with the last two variables renamed. And now I'm going to pipe that output into the glimpse function and just check to make sure that those last two columns were indeed renamed, and I can see they were. So that was successful. So this rename function just renamed those last two variables, those last two columns. Okay, that's a wrap on the rename function. Next up will be the mutate function. Thanks, everyone.